some of the statements that he's made about the threats and to others, and that have been chronicled in particular in some of the predicate acts that have been stated for the court's consideration. Whether or not those acts, as Mr. Adams has pointed out, or because they have to be proven at trial, is a discussion for another day. But at this point in time, in the aggregate, those particular discussions, in particular, the proffer from the people that the state has talked to already, the group chat that that from 2015 starting, anybody goes into a courtroom and tells the God honest truth, they'll be fucking killed, pardon me for the language, and this threat is still being talked about. So that is of a concern to the court in regards to the danger to or threats to persons in the community. So and factors, there's no significant arrest of intimidating witnesses or otherwise obstructing the administration of justice. That is the court's concern. The two major concerns that this court has is danger to persons and threats to intimidate other witnesses and obstruct the administration of justice. So I have some concerns about the flight that I share with Judge Wolf also indicated, but and I'm not going to hold it against him that he is very successful and has significant means, but those two factors in particular, threats to persons in the community or poses significant risk of intimidation of witnesses, otherwise obstructing administration of justice. The court has considered a number of the predicate statements, and for those reasons in the aggregate, I'm going to deny bond at this time. But Mr. Adams, Ms. Hornsby, and Mr. Steele, certainly if you should file any other additional motions or things change, I certainly will reconsider the court's position on bond. It is not lost on me that I have not given your client a bond, but that is my decision based upon what I have heard, and I certainly appreciate your advocacy on behalf of your client, all of the lawyers thus far who have advocated very well for their clients in this particular position, and I will do my level best to make sure that this case gets tried as expeditiously as possible, and if I can get it on the calendar before the 9th of January, I will endeavor to do so. So, anything else at this point in time?
One thing, Judge.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I know the court sent an email to, I think, the Public Defender's Office concerning getting defendants who are presently unrepresented representation. We wanted to kind of weigh in on that. We filed a motion today requesting the court to respectfully get them so we can get everybody arraigned and get it moved. I want to just give the court... Mr.
Gere, you must think that I have a lot of power. I really don't. But in all seriousness, I've heard from Ms. Bernard, Gina Bernard, and she right now is working on getting people assigned.
I just want the court tells me to bring copies. I'm trying to provide copies. Judge.
Yeah, we certainly, have you given copies to the...
They've been served, yes.
Okay, all right.
Electronically.
Okay, if you'll give those to Mr. Kearns right here, so I think Mr. Chamberlain's gone. But we are the court is inherently sensitive as to that issue, and as soon as those attorneys can be appointed, and I have some correspondence from Ms. Bernard saying that they are working on that issue right now, and that we will certainly get those people brought over as soon as possible. But and if you all have any other information in regards to that, please let us know. But we are tracking that issue, and I will continue to talk and dialogue with Mr. Chamberlain about that. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Sir.
Anything else, folks?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, all right. Thank you for your patience today, folks. Unless you have anything else, we'll be in recess for the time being, okay? All right, thank you.
business owner says that she is furious after a man broke into her business and stole more than $40,000.
Man, you chicks in Milwaukee
It
ain't got
happened in
nothing
Fayette
on
County.
this dude, man. Hey, remember in Milwaukee when they was jumping in the dumpster and when they hit the one little hair store, all that hair reeves going around or whatever. Yeah, they ain't got nothing on Buddy here, man. Buddy hit the hair store for $40,000 worth of hair extensions. 40 G's. Man, he can go start his own store.
And the woman says the man was inside for almost an hour. Fox 5's Eric Perry
He was in there
spoke with the
working. He
woman
punched
who
in.
shared the surveillance video of the break-in.
You can still see shattered glass from when that man made his way inside through the front door. His every move captured on surveillance cameras.
Don't steal from people because karma is amazing.
It was a wake-up call from police no business owner wants to get. This surveillance video shows the bold and brazen act this man took to steal hair from the hair exchange on Highway 85 in Fayette County.
Took hair extensions, took front lace wigs, HD wigs, blonde frontals, all kind of hair products.
Latasha Harris is a wholesale hair supplier and has been in the hair business for nearly 2 decades. She says nothing like this has happened before.
So he kicked the door in and went under the door. He went in. He immediately had bags with him when he came. He took a mega amount of wigs. Then he filled his bags up so much he ran from here to the highway. Then he came back and he filled up our trash bags and came back 4 times.
Video shows the man inside filling up bags with expensive, valuable, and precious hair for a painfully long time.
He did it for 43 minutes. He was here for 43 minutes, which is weird to me. He took about $40,000 worth of stuff. Roughly $40,000 worth of stuff.
Harris says she believes her business was targeted and the man responsible knew the area because he parked his car a distance from the shop.
On 85. Ran from here to the highway with hair.
Harris says this will not stop her business, but she hopes someone will come forward to help get this man caught.
I can't believe it because it's Fayette County. I mean, I know they're breaking in everywhere. It doesn't matter where you live anymore, but I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it.
And if you know anything about the crime or the man in the video, come forward to police. Of course, you can remain anonymous. In Fayette County, I'm Eric Perry, Fox 5 News.
A man accused of fatally shooting a retired Wisconsin judge has died. That's according to the Wisconsin Department of Justice. Authorities say Douglas Uda shot former Juneau County Circuit Judge John Romer inside his home in New Lisbon on Friday before shooting himself. Now, he had been on life support to allow for organ donation. According to law enforcement, he had a hit list with several high-profile political names on it.
The place where most of us Americans live anyway, especially on this issue. Because I promise you, America, you and me, we are not as divided as we were being told we are.
Oh.
No.
Think so?
How about we get inspired? Give ourselves just cause to revere our future again. Maybe set an example for our children. Give us reason to tell them, hey, listen and watch these men and women. These are great American leaders right here. Hope you grow up to be like them. And let's admit it. We can't truly be leaders if we're only living for re-election. Let's be knowledgeable and wise and act on what we truly believe. Again, we got to look in the mirror, lead with humility, and acknowledge the values that are inherent to, but also above politics. We got to make choices, make stands, embrace new ideas, and preserve the traditions that can create true progress for the next generation. With real leadership, let's start giving us, all of us, with real leadership, let's start giving all of us good reason to believe that the American dream is not an illusion. So where do we start? We start by making the right choices on the issue that is in front of us today. We start by making laws that save innocent lives and don't infringe on our Second Amendment rights. We start right now by voting to pass policies that can keep us from having as many Columbine, Sandy Hooks, Parklands, Las Vegases, Buffaloes, and Uvaldes from here on. We start by giving Alethea a chance to be spoiled by her dad. We start by giving Mayday a chance to become a marine biologist. We start by giving Ellie a chance to read her Bible verse at the Wednesday night service. We start by giving Irma and Joe a chance.
I know he on a touchy topic, but is it me or do this seem like a Saturday Night Live skit?
We start by giving McKenna, Layla.
Let's go.
A Milwaukee man is now charged, accused of shooting at another man more than 40 times. The victim had 80 gunshot wounds. He did not survive. Cassidy Williams is live tonight with the new insight into the investigation and the charges now filed. Cassidy?
Wow.
26-year-old Jose Davila
That's what you
Gali
call
is now
getting
charged
chopped
with
up.
first-degree intentional homicide. Prosecutors say both his truck and his gun connect him to the shooting. Dozens of gunshots were fired at a car during the early morning of May 15th. 28-year-old Juan Luis Estela Ortiz was in the driver's seat. Court records say he had 80 gunshot wounds. Ortiz's family in Puerto Rico told Fox 6 he was a humble man who helped everyone. They say they will miss his smile and the love he shared with his family. Witnesses who saw the shooting described it to Fox 6 the next day.
That was an overkill to shoot that many times.
Prosecutors say the shooter is this man, 26-year-old Jose Davila Gali. He had his first court appearance Monday. According to court records, surveillance video shows a truck circling the area before the shooting. Then 2.5 weeks later, on June 1st, officers found Gali driving that truck and trying to pull him over. There then was a chase. When the chase ended, Gali's pregnant wife in the passenger seat was found with a gun. An analyst determined that gun matched the 48 bullet casings found at the scene.
Man, you mean to tell me you kept all that shit? You did it in your own vehicle with your own gun, and a month or whatever later, they catch you, same vehicle with everything, your wife and your baby? Damn, brother.
It's unclear the motive in this case. Court records say when officers asked Gali about what happened, he says he lent both his truck and his gun to someone else that night. He's being held on $750,000 cash bond. Live in Milwaukee, Cassidy Williams, Fox 6 News.
Cassidy, thank you.
We're out here in these streets making sure that we are enforcing the law, especially when it comes to this reckless driving.
Milwaukee police chasing a reckless driver crash into a bystander, setting off a chain reaction. We start with that breaking news tonight at 10. A number of police officers, bystanders, and a suspect are injured during a pursuit in Milwaukee.
Police Chief Norman just spoke about the crash with the media. Our Cassidy Williams live near the scene at Capitol in Teutonia with how it all started. Cassidy, take us through it.
Ted, we're here near Capitol in Teutonia, where police have had this busy intersection blocked off since rush hour when this happened. You can see some of the cars involved are still in the intersection. Police say this is where a squad car crashed into another car that was not involved in the pursuit. The fleeing driver then got into a crash himself just a quarter mile down the road.
I heard the crash, like the boom, and then you heard everybody kind of like, oh.
Outside the Sandwich God near 20th and Teutonia, Michael Smith says he too often sees the result of reckless driving.
It's always some sort of like crash and or something right here.
Monday, an overturned car right outside the window. Another one just down the road. Milwaukee police say this is where a 19-year-old driver fleeing police crashed into two cars. A 28-year-old woman was taken to the hospital. The squad that was chasing the car crashed first about a quarter-mile away near Capitol and Teutonia. There were 3 people in the car the squad hit, including a 54-year-old man who is now in the hospital with life-threatening injuries.
There's always a challenge when you're dealing with, again, enforcement of our motor vehicle laws.
The 19-year-old ran away from the crash and was later arrested. The 2 officers involved are being treated at the hospital. Smith hopes something is done to change the behavior of the city's reckless drivers.
I ain't saying lock people up for forever or nothing like that, but you got to do something because this outrageous.
Milwaukee police say they first tried to pull over the 19-year-old driver because he was going too fast and the car did not have a license plate. Milwaukee police later learned that car was stolen. Waukesha police are now leading this investigation. Live in Milwaukee, Cassidy Williams, Fox 6 News.
Cassidy, thank you.
A Virginia Beach couple has turned their personal tragedy into a way to help other families. Heather and Dimitri Wilson were a month shy of their baby Kennedy's due date when she suddenly stopped moving. In the months that followed, the Wilsons realized there were not enough resources for families facing a miscarriage, stillbirth, or neonatal loss. So they set out to change that. The Fox Medical Team's Beth Galvin is here with their story.
And Christine, this is a really powerful story because, you know, the Wilsons say the one thing that they wish they would have known was that they were not alone back in 2009, that there was this whole community out there of people who have experienced the same kind of loss. So they set out to try to make the grieving process a little easier for other families, one angel box at a time.
Heather and Dimitri Wilson described their lives in 2 parts, before Kennedy and after Kennedy.
At any moment, I can remember the loneliness and the confusion and just every emotion you could think of.
Speaking to us from their Virginia Beach home, the social worker and fire and rescue battalion chief described how in 2009, at 36 weeks gestation, Heather felt their baby suddenly stop moving inside her. They would later learn that Kennedy died less than a month before her due date from complications of preeclampsia or high blood pressure in pregnancy.
What happened to me specifically is placenta abruption. So because my blood pressure got so high, my placenta detached. Essentially, they waited for the doctor on call to arrive, which wasn't my normal doctor, unfortunately, and to deliver to us the news that there was no heartbeat and Kennedy had transitioned.
Instead of bringing Kennedy home, they had 2 days at the hospital to say goodbye and plan her funeral.
I just think the worst thing a parent who has just lost a child could do is go to the clothing section of a store to buy a gown for their baby that's passed away. I just can't even imagine taking those steps. Unfortunately, my husband and my mom had to do that when we lost Kennedy, and it's just stuck with me that they spent an entire day and there was literally nothing small enough.
And as the years passed, Heather began thinking about how they might be able to help other parents who are facing a pregnancy or stillbirth loss.
I said, what's more beautiful than the fabric of a wedding gown? And what does everyone do with their wedding gown? It sits in a closet.
So they created Kennedy's Angel Gowns, a nonprofit that sews burial gowns made from donated wedding dresses for babies lost during pregnancy or soon after. And they now ship and deliver angel boxes all over the U.S.
To think that these beautiful babies will be buried in the most expensive and luxurious fabric is just amazing.
Something else the Wilsons longed for was more time to say goodbye. So they've started donating cooling units or temperature-controlled cots to labor and delivery hospitals, including Atlanta's Northside Hospital, that allow families to keep their stillborn babies in their hospital room with them for up to 5 to 7 days.
The cooling units regulating the body temperature, and so you can pick the baby up, hold the baby, take pictures, whatever.
So you have as much time as you want to hold and cherish what memories that you want to create moving forward. I wish that we had that opportunity.
It just seems like a no-brainer that hospitals should just come equipped with them, because that precious time you get in the hospital is all you're ever going to have.
And the Wilsons say helping other parents is helping them heal and honor Kennedy. And Heather has gone on to become a bereavement doula. She helps families who are anticipating a stillbirth or a neonatal loss to understand exactly what to expect, and then helps them get through that loss and grieving process. And the Angel boxes are now shipped all over the country, and families can also find grief support resources on their website.
23 hours a day in lockup. Families of inmates inside the Milwaukee County Jail have reached out to Fox 6 about worsening conditions inside.
And tonight, the sheriff admits there is a problem due to a staffing shortage. Our Gabrielle Mays joins us live from outside the jail now. Gabby, the sheriff's office does say they are working to fix it.
Yeah, so like many law enforcement officers across the country, the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office says that it is dealing with staffing issues.
I'm not asking for a lot.
Demetria Dillard's fiance, Tony Talbert, is one of 947 people locked inside the Milwaukee County Jail.
It can be an hour in the morning, hour in the afternoon, hour in the evening. That's not a lot.
Dillard says she wants change now.
I want them to change, like more staffing, better communication with the inmates, with the lieutenants.
Dillard was one of 3 people who reached out to Fox 6 to say inmates were stuck inside their cells 23 hours a day at the jail. So we asked the sheriff's office about it. The sheriff's office replied with this statement, which says in part, low staffing numbers impacted operations in the form of necessitating limited time outside their housing units for occupants. That said, even with the staffing crunch, we were able to meet our statutory obligation by getting occupants out for at least 1 hour to shower and call family members. In fact, most of our occupants were out for longer periods than 1 hour. We also followed up today with Jail Supervisor Lieutenant Noel Ybarra.
We do what we can to make sure that they have their rights and privileges and make sure that they have their time out of their cells.
The Sheriff's Office says 251 correctional officer positions are budgeted for the jail. As of today, 133 officers are employed, plus a number of deputies temporarily assigned to the jail to help. In an effort to reduce staffing shortages, the jail is hosting a hiring event on Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
We're doing on-the-spot interviews, background investigations, and conditional offers.
Ybarra says the job as a correctional officer is demanding.
We're looking for anybody who's dedicated and wants to make a change in their community to come and apply.
Now, the job fair will be held tomorrow from 10 to 6.
One of the changes that need to be made in the community is the changes down there to the jail.
To see if the requests that she has made continue to happen. Reporting live in Milwaukee, Gabrielle Mays, Fox 6 News.
We'll see what happens, Gabby. Thank you.
It was a chance encounter almost 3 years ago, and it ended up with one man fatally stabbed. Today, a West Allis man learned his fate for taking the life of another man back in 2019. Brett Vickery with the emotional moments in court today.
I personally would have liked to see him go away for life, but it is what it is.
A final chapter to an almost 3-year horror story. Ryan Sorensen's family grieves his tragic death all over again.
I'd like to say the nightmare that I've been living for nearly 3 years, it's not coming to an end with this.
Back in September of 2019, prosecutors say Angel Monje Montezuma and Shirley Monje were riding their bikes when they encountered Sorensen. The 3 got into an argument, which ended with Sorensen getting stabbed in the chest. Shirley Monje pleaded guilty in the case last year. Her husband was found guilty back in April.
I would like to apologize to Ryan's family for their loss and to tell them that I did not intentionally try to kill anyone that night.
Yeah, that's it for the first hour, y'all. We ran a little long because we ran a little late. We're going to get you over to the music at the top of the hour. We got the Munchie Mixes, Pitch Control DJs, DJ Switch and DJ Johnny G. So y'all make sure y'all stay locked for that. And if you're interested in sponsoring the Munchie Mix or any show or segment on HiddenHorrorRadio.com, make sure you hit me up at 414-502-7808 for any of your advertisement needs. Let's get to the music, y'all. Let's go.
Check out your station on the World Wide Web.
HiddenHorrorRadio.com is Anything Goes Radio.